Mr. Anderson?
Here.
Mr. Scherfers?
Here.
Ms. Dorsey? Mr. Marks? Mr. Wyckoff? Mr. Pena?
Here.
Mr. Smith? Ms. Holmes? Mr. Strickland? Mr. Chairman, you have quorum.
Stand for the invocation. Mr. Smith, please.
Father God, we come first giving you glory, honor, and praise. Father God, we thank you for this day, this blessed day. Now, Father God, as we handle the EDC business, we pray that you be in the midst. Father God, we ask that you give us traveling grace as we leave. We ask it all in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Look at the minutes for our regular meeting. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
It's moved and second that we approved our minutes for January 9th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Sorry, Mr. Schaefer and Mr. Wyckoff. Now for our annual meeting agenda. May I have a motion on that, please? It's moved by Mr. Marks and second by Mr. Wyckoff. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now for communications, Mr. Baptiste.
Breakfast going to be February the 20th, which is, that's next week, Jody? Next week, going to be at the Carl Parker Center. What we have done in the past, those of you who wish to attend, we have bought individual tickets, is that right? Those of you who wish to be present, let Joni know, and we will have a seat reserved for you guys.
Okay, so anyone that's planning on attending the breakfast, if you just email Joni and she'll get everyone set up in lieu of purchasing a table. Next meeting,
We will purchase individual seats.
right, in lieu of purchasing a table.
Right. Yes, sir.
Next communication? We had to,
The other one we have is Valero on that same day, that afternoon from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Valero is going to have a community meeting and an informational forum, letting the community know about their proposed COCA project and expansion. I ask any of you board members, if y'all have time, please attend. We will have a table there. We'll probably loan that table to our project manager for the housing program, because we expecting a lot of people from the community. So Ms. Ballou going to have a table there. If anyone wanted to register for one of those affordable housing. But I certainly wish you guys, if you guys have the time, we definitely would like to go out here. And this is about $1 billion project, so, you know, you guys want to know about it, now is the time to go. And that's the 20th from 5:30 to 7:30 at Lamar State College, Port Arthur.
any questions? Do we need to reserve for that, or that's just something we show up to?
It's open for the public.
Okay. We have no speakers today, no unfinished business, no consent agenda. Moving to the non-consent agenda. To discuss for possible consideration the approval of an agreement for the sale of the land at Highway 73 Business Park to KLV Ventures.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, several months ago, you guys approved an economic incentive with KLV for the purchase of 3 tractor-trailer trucks, and also for the purchase of 3 lots on Business Park on Highway 73. In the original agreement, Kate helped me out, we went with just the purchase of the truck. Now we're ready to do the sale of the land and let you guys know that we're moving forward with the sale of the land. You guys did agree to the purchase price of the property of $197,122.57 at 4% interest, and it's going to be a 9-year. I'm asking you guys agreed to 7 years. I'm asking you guys for 9 years, and the reason being is just trying to make. Did they get the new deal?
The amortization for that was underneath your packet.
Yeah, and the reason why we're asking for 9 years payment is just to keep the payment low to help the project work. You know, we just want the guy to be successful, and his deal was to keep his property payment under $2,400. All we did was increase it by 2 more years. It's up to the board, though. But originally, y'all agreed to 7 years. He asking for to keep it below. At 7 years, it was I think it was $2,694. He wanted to keep his note under $2,324. So I pushed it up to 9 years. If y'all agree to that.
Mr. Baptiste, have we done 9 years? I can't recall. I thought we had a limit.
No, this is a loan.
This is
We have
long.
done loans for.
What was the
10,
last loan
15.
we did?
Last loan we did was with Dr. Ali on, what was the name of that business? It turned over several times.
Or
It was a 15-year loan.
This is just a loan, it's not a grant.
No.
We've prepared a loan agreement, a deed of trust, and a note, and the only reason those aren't in your packet is because we're waiting on our Snow and Gates to
Do a survey.
provide me a survey so that I can have the proper legal description attached to the deed of trust and the loan agreement. So that's what we're currently waiting on.
Any other questions? We have a motion?
I make a motion that we extend the loan the additional 2 years.
It's been moved by Mr. Smith and seconded by Mr. Schaefer that we extend the loan from 7 years to 9 years. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One opposed. Mr. Wyckoff. Motion carries. Our second agenda item is to discuss for possible consideration the terms and conditions of an economic incentive agreement with Standard Alloyed Engineered Services. Mr. Baptiste?
Sir, Mr. Chairman, board members, Joni passed you guys out what we call a fact sheet. Y'all want to look at this? 'Cause that's what I'm going to be speaking from. Everybody have? Okay, as you guys know, we've been working with Standard Alloyed. You guys approve us moving forward. We checked the financial looked good. Standard Alloyed been incorporated and been in Port Arthur since 1926 under the name of Standard Brass, and in 1983 they expanded their operation in Vida by purchasing a machine shop over there. And the project here, and that's why I'm telling you, but the project here is to take both of those projects and consolidate them into one and purchase 34.8 acres of land in the business park. As you can see, the land purchase for the 34.8 acres is $2,313,000. That's for the land. The building itself, they estimate that building going to cost them about $12 million a year up. The equipment is about $2.5 million, and the furniture fix about $5 million. A total project cost of about $17 million. I'm going to go to this now. to your impact analysis on these folks. And when I ran the numbers on, they plan to hire 10 new people on this project. Of the 10, they hope that they could get at least 4 of those folks to be Port Arthur resident. And if you look at the wages on this guy here, we came up with the, I'm just going to point you to the page. It's an impact analysis that will tell you what this company will, the return on the investment for this community. And I guess if you look on page 19, the formula came out with $1,294,799. And that is what if you guys look at the very last page, I think the last page is probably attached to this guy. My formula came out with 1.7 million. I'm recommending $1,294,799. In return, we asking a Standard Alloy over a 3-year period to produce $1,331,616 worth of payroll for Port Arthur residents over the 3-year period. And what we looked at on the application, they said they would hire 1 pump machinist, 2 pump machinists, 2, and 1 pump machinist apprentice. And that's how I came up with the wages. The average wage of those positions is about $55,480. Your payback is payroll at $23 per hour, $23 for every $1 in payroll. And we also going to ask them to maintain in that location for 5 years and provide us with tax return. I do have a principal from Standard Alloy here, if y'all have any questions on this thing.
Have any questions?
Skill set that are the crafts that are going to be hired, or just machinists, or are there some other crafts that would be involved?
Can you answer that for me, sir?
So we're looking at adding 1 additional supervisor to our machine shop repair center. The bulk of the work that we will be doing at the initial facility that we want to put on this property will be machining and pump repair. So it'll be pump mechanics and machinists that we'll be adding to that staff. We're looking at also adding, I think there was an estimator through 2020. There's several jobs that we will need to fill. There's 10 jobs. I believe he's just listed the jobs that we're looking at in that first year, which would be the pump mechanics and machinists. So there are some other, there's a clerical, there's a supervisor role, there's some machinists, and there's some pump mechanics in those positions.
Mark, if you look at the very top of this page, it shows you the 10 jobs that they were looking at hiring, the 10 jobs that they were looking at trying to hire from between now and 2020. The bottom shows you the 4 that they're going to try from Port Arthur. Follow me?
Obviously, the more people we can hire in Port Arthur, the better. But I'm trying to be realistic. I'm assuming that if we're hiring 10, some could come from Beaumont or Mid-County, and just trying to be realistic with the figures and hoping that we can at least place 4 Port Arthur residents. I live in Port Arthur myself.
Let me ask this. Is there an apprentice program where if in the initial hiring you don't find the qualified personnel here in Port Arthur, but we do have some training programs through our school district with machine shops and stuff like that. Will there be, and again, an apprentice program where somebody 18, 19 years old can come on and not work at the standard starting wage, but at an apprentice wage and learn the business or learn the craft and then be able to be hired later on?
Yes, sir. Everybody that we hire, the objective and the goal is for them to progress through the company. So if you notice on there, we're looking at hiring an apprentice, and we would have our own training program within the company. And the goal would be for them to go from being say a pump mechanic apprentice or a machinist apprentice to a machinist 2 to a machinist 1. If you look at the average retention within our company, the average employee, we have 100 employees total through all of our 4 facilities. The average years of service with Standard Alloys is 17 years. We've been at the location here in Port Arthur, as he mentioned, since 1926. We're not going anywhere. And we look to try to be a greater force in this community and continue to train and employ people. Our foundry superintendent, he's been with us 46 years. Started out right out of high school, working in the foundry, and now he's the superintendent. That's basically the way our company has done all of their employees.
Any other questions? Can I have a motion?
The motion is to approve an incentive for $1,294,799.
It's a recommendation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's the recommendation.
Okay. I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we improve the incentive for $294,079. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank y'all very much.
I guess we get with the lawyers tomorrow. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Item number 3, to discuss for possible consideration modifying the agreement between PAEDC and AJ Entertainment.
Sir, Commissioner, Chairman and Commissioners, AJ Entertainment, you guys entered into a contract with them on February the 15th of 2016. And we're providing infrastructure for that facility. That's the, what's the name, Rio Cajun and the warehouse. Well, because of the storm, they're having difficulty. They had to get back in business, and right now they're going through a permitting process with the city for the warehouse, the distribution center. So what we're asking you guys to just extend this thing to, they should give a date for did Crystal give a date? We need to extend it because it expires February 2017, and she want to extend this thing to, she didn't give a date.
It expires February 15th. You talked about 6 to 9 months, whatever.
6 to 9 months, whatever y'all please, because right now they're going through a permitting process to fix the distribution center up, and so that some construction have to happen, you know, and it will not happen before by September 15th of 2018. So we're asking you guys to extend this thing 6 to 9 months for the construction and for them to meet their obligation.
Any
Leo,
questions?
Do you have a date? Need a date so we can approve it with a date, if you don't mind. the record.
February.
I would just do, so it was, it looked like it was originally, it looks like she has on here something about February 15th. I would just do either 6 months or 9 months from today. I think that would be the easiest to do. So if you want a date, the board needs to choose, do they want to do 6 months or 9 months, and then just,
So what was the request, Mr. Baptiste?
Well, it's expired February 15th
Okay,
of this year.
right.
Today is the whatever the day's
The
date.
12th.
The 12th.
Right. And they are in the permitting process right now. So once they get their permit, then they start the construction. Okay? And we saying 6 to 9 months they should have this stuff done. All we need, we're asking you guys to give them more time to complete the construction.
I understand. I'm just trying to get an actual date. You want
We don't
9
have-
months? You need 9 months or you need 6?
Well,
I think 9 months would be better for construction.
Yeah, I would think you would go 9 because
9
you're
months.
gonna be in some rainy weather the next couple of months, so that would be another delay, so yeah, I
So-
prefer to go 9 months.
okay,
So we're going to November?
November? Is that November?
November?
Okay, that's what we was asking for.
So do we say November the 15th? 'Cause
I'll make a,
it's the 15th.
Today's date, November, whatever today's date.
I'll make a motion, we extend to November the 15th, 2018.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we extend the contract agreement between the Port Arthur EDC and AJ Entertainment from February the 12th, right? We're going from this date?
15th,
From February 15th to November the 15th.
yes, sir.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Item number 4, to discuss for possible consideration, acceptance of a bid from S&S Investigations and Security for security guard services to serve the Spur 93 Business Park. Mr. Baptiste?
Yes, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, we went out for bid for security service. The low bid came in with S&S. S&S is currently our security provider for that business park. We are very pleased with the service they provided, and since they are the low bid, my recommendation is for you guys to continue, accept this low bid.
Have any questions?
I looked at the numbers. S&S was not the low bid, but if they are the best bid, then I don't have a problem with approving them, but they weren't the low bid, according to the numbers here.
The time?
Yeah, Commissioner, when you look at, oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, they are put off, yeah, they're the best bid. We are very pleased with them, yes, sir. And the difference was not enough to go with that low bid, yes, sir.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner.
From S&S Investigations and Security for security service at the Spur, to continue security service at the Spur 93 Business Park. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, to discuss for possible consideration a letter of intent from Joe's Shopping Plaza. Mr.
Yes,
Baptiste?
this is a letter of intent, Commissioners. It's from Joe Aree, who want to build a shopping center at, I think it's at Jimmy Johnson and Jimmy Johnson Boulevard on Jimmy Johnson. On Jimmy Johnson in Port Arthur. I do have one of the principal here, if you guys want to hear from, but this is the infrastructure project here. It's strictly infrastructure. So,
I do note that they don't have an NAICS code on their application.
it's infrastructure.
Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to point that out.
And as I said, I do have the principal here if you guys want to hear from them. It's strictly a letter of intent. We haven't done any due diligence on this yet.
How y'all doing? My name is Joe Arif. I've recently purchased 5 acres right there on Jimmy Johnson in front of the golf course. And, you know, I'm from this area, born and raised. Want to develop that area. It's been vacant for a while now. So, would love to build a shopping center with the help of the EDC, and, we can bring some major franchises to the area, And I have been in contact, got a lot of interest and a lot of verbal agreements. So, with your help, we can definitely, get it started and it'll, benefit both ways, So,
So it's located right in front of the golf course?
yes, right on the golf course, 3400 Jimmy Johnson, it's that whole tract of land right there between what's that Stripes gas station, all the way on down to the canal right before Kimmy's Cafe.
Oh, okay.
It's that whole tract, and this is just phase one. So once phase one gets finished and I build this one, then we'll, start phase 2, 3, 4, so on. So a lot of potential, to, revive that area right there,
I assume you did a test study on traffic and
Oh, yeah,
competition
all
in the
that.
area?
Yes, sir. And it's nothing that I'm jumping into. I've been doing this all my life. My dad's been an investor here. We're born and raised here. He's done a lot in this area, starting with Mike's Furniture,
Okay.
the Sam's Seafoods, the shopping center across the street, brought the racetrack to Memorial, the racetrack to Twin City, Advanced Auto Parts on Gulfway. So that's all businesses that, he's brought to this area in the past, So, growing up under him, I've got all the contacts, all the, so we can definitely get it going.
No, Mike. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's some construction going on Jimmy Johnson right now,
Yes.
parallel to the 10th hole
Yes.
at the Bay. Is that your?
That's me, yes, sir.
That's you also?
Uh-huh. That is me. And that's phase one. That's what we're starting on now. And then, as we go, we'll, start with the rest.
You're having to bring the water line and sewer all
Yes,
the
I
way
have to,
from-
and the thing is, that with the infrastructure cost, I have to bring the water line from the opposite side of Jimmy Johnson, because there's no taps right there on that side, so we have to, burrow, I guess, through Jimmy Johnson, which that gets real costly, so, that's why we're kind of at a standstill right now to see, what routes we're gonna go.
Any other questions?
You said you had 5 acres. How many of the acres are you planning on building out?
Well, I'm planning on doing the whole 5 acres.
And what
You know.
about for phase 1?
Well, phase one is just 1 acre. Phase one is going to be an 8,500 square foot strip center. And then once we finish with that one, hopefully lease it out 100%, then we'll start with phase 2, which will go, bigger and better on phase 2. So this one, we just want to start off, get it started, and then, with that one developed and everything, we'll get more franchisees more interested in coming there, that there's other ones there, So,
I got to ask this question. Because we have a long-range plan, long-term plan of
Yes.
developing downtown.
mm-hmm.
You ever thought about bringing anything down here?
I mean, we definitely can. I mean, it's nothing that's out of the question. I'm sure something with your push, with your help, I'm sure we can, we can definitely make something happen.
I need our downtown program again. Remember?
So,
Yeah.
see what y'all can do for us. We can definitely do something. It's worth a shot at least.
I got a question, CEO. Infrastructure, what we're going to do if we move forward, right? Question is that a master plan for the city for infrastructure on that area since we had the mass flood?
No, sir. No, sir. Not that I know of.
Okay.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Make a motion to move forward on the application.
Second? It's been moved and second that we move forward with the application for Joe's Shopping, with the letter of intent for Joe's Shopping Plaza. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Item number 6, to discuss for possible consideration a letter of intent from Dustin Guff Seafood.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Mr. Dustin, he been in business for 5 years, and what Dustin want to do is move his business on Memorial. I think he's on Sabine Pass right now, Dustin? Yeah, Sabine Pass, and want to move his business to Memorial, add more refrigerators, and making his bigger business a little larger. Again, this is just a letter of intent. I do have the principal here if you guys have any question. Dustin to come answer any questions they may have.
My name is Scott Wynn. I'm with Dustin Goat Seafood.
Any questions?
Right now, you guys are located in your main shop in Bridge City, right?
Oh, it's the Bean Pass?
It's a bean pass.
Yeah, we have a loading dock there where we unload and wholesale shrimp. And our purpose is to expand here to hold more of our inventory, which is kind of like just say like in the season, right? The market price kind of drops. And sometimes the companies drops it even like lower because they know we have to sell. What we can do is like basically give it at a market price or even higher and start till the end of the season, and we can just sell it then. And then, it affects like, the fishermen, which mostly resides in the city of Port Arthur, which we can give them like the better price and more income for their family. Which affects probably like 200 in the employees fishermen that lives here.
So you,
I had a question for you.
Yeah.
I know I have a friend that's in the shrimp business as well. She says that China has been affecting y'all a lot.
It depends because the import is cheaper, but the quality is not as good as Gulf.
That's what she has said.
But the thing is, not down here, but more on the West Coast, they don't know better.
Yeah.
They see bigger shrimp.
Exactly.
Like
Better price.
yeah, better price. That's basically it. Mhm.
All right. That's good.
so you're looking to add 5 employees?
We're looking at more like for around like 3 to 5. As of now, we have 6. But like I said, like creating jobs is one thing, but like this affects the fishermen, which like I said is in the hundreds that resides here. Because like I said, we can give higher price, and we're going to open that to the public.
Any other questions? Your motion?
I'll make a motion, we move forward with the letter of intent for Dustin's Gulf Seafood.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we move forward with the letter of intent for Dustin's Gulf Seafood. All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 7, to discuss for possible consideration an annual contribution to the Regional Economic Development Initiative.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, what we're asking you guys to do is we recommend a $5,000 contribution to READY. Those new members who's not familiar with READY, READY is a regional economic development organization that, economic develops from Orange County, Hardin County, and Jefferson County, and also chamber members. We come together on a monthly basis and talk about economic condition in our community and how we make things better. And the organization is funded through each organization. We make a contribution to that organization. That's how we fund ourselves. We're asking you guys to I'm recommending $5,000 contribution to this organization.
A question, are the numbers that we have in front of us, that come from READY? The
5,000? Yes, Commissioner, prior years, we have contributed $7,500. Last year, because of the budget cut, we gave 1/8 of our money to the city. I asked you guys, I recommended $5,000. We brought it down to $5,000. Again, I'm asking you guys $5,000 this year.
any other questions? You have a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved and second that we approve the annual contribution to READY in the amount of $5,000. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're now ready for our reports. Marketing and business.
Good evening. As you guys know, the Vision Summit took place a couple of weeks ago. It was an awesome summit, a lot of great feedback. I just want to let you guys know that I did post some pictures on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and I just wanted to let you guys know that we got a lot of great feedback. You know, we had the A team here in Port Arthur. When you can get Jeff Finkel, Dr. Johnson, and Louise in one room, you've made it happen. And so just a little analytical information. I posted this particular picture during the summit on LinkedIn, and I've been monitoring it since the day I posted it. And today I pulled up the analytical data, and I just want to let you guys know that it was viewed 1,600 times. 9 people from BNSF Railway viewed it. 121 people who have the title CEO or Executive Director viewed it. And our biggest audience was from the Houston, Texas market. So I just want to let you know that people did take heed to it. I actually posted a video on our Facebook page, and I also have that analytical data as well. Let me get there. Let me go there. According to Facebook, total views 50%. We reached people which added 100%. The engagement was really, really up there. So the social media is really working. That's the way you market, and that's what makes the world go round. That's how you keep people engaged on what it is you're trying to implement and what you're doing in your city. A while back, you guys approved an agreement, for us to do business with KFDM Sinclair Broadcasting. I've actually had a couple of meetings with Susie, and she and we actually came up with a couple of taglines for the digital marketing post that we plan on doing. And Mr. Baptiste and we actually sat down today, and what we've decided is we're actually going to do a digital marketing campaign, but it's going to be done for business recruitment, and it's going to be done in just different markets. And some of the markets that were pitched were Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Pennsylvania, just those areas along the coastal area that are actually looking to relocate here in the southern states. So that's where we are with that. And if you guys want to know more information, I'll share it with you. If you want to come by and see it, I have it. Also, as you guys know, tonight you guys have a breakdown in your packet using Shamir Analytics. I seen it was actually in the packet right there, Mr. Anderson. I actually had a call with Rick Lombardo. I actually met Shamir Christine Analytics a couple of years ago at a forum in Utah, and they call periodically just to see how everything is going, are things working out, just how everything's going. I will tell you that this particular analytical data is not only used by us, but it's also used by workforce. And it breaks down how many people in your area have degrees, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, doctorals, how many people actually have a high school diploma. It talks about workforce. It talks about people in the population. It talks about how many Caucasians, how many African Americans, how many Hispanics. It appalled me when we actually had the summit that Dr. Porter stated that, our educational system is, at this high school, is actually 49% Hispanic. That's something to think about. It really impacts our economy, and in a good way, not in a bad way, but it just lets you know that we're changing. Everything is changing. And so got a chance to speak with him. Also, I had a call with another gentleman last week with Chamber Maps, and we're going to actually do business with them for the 2018-2019 year. And this is the artwork that he and I came up with, and it basically has our tagline, build it, ship it, rail it. It has our logo as well as our contact information, as well as all the social media outlets that we're on. Also, on January 24th, I spoke with Jeff Cornett. Jeff Cornett is another guy that we actually, a magazine company that we do business with by the name of Expansion Solutions. And a few years back, he and I actually came up with this beautiful brochure that actually had our marketing campaign as well as information about what's going on in our community. And then on the back, of course, is a beautiful depiction of our port as well as our marketing campaign. And Mr. Baptiste and I actually talked about maybe putting some ideas in here about workforce, job opportunities, what it is that the EDC has to offer, whether it be through welding, whether it be through CDL, moving, whatever it is that we encompass here as regards employment and training. Also, we recently signed a contract with Site Selection Magazine. Kathy McFarland. Had the honor of actually meeting her at a Ready meeting like 3 years ago. Didn't plan to do business with her, but from building that relationship and just staying in contact, we were actually able to partake in their magazine a year ago. And so we're going to be in this particular magazine. Also, Mr. Baptiste is going to be featured in Global Trade Magazine, which is another magazine that we actually partake in. And basically, it's going to strictly talk about what we're doing here in Port Arthur, what's going on. A lot of people want to know what's going on because we were impacted by Hurricane Harvey, and how are we going to, what's the comeback, what's the plan? And so that's another thing that we're working on. And by partaking in the Global Trade Magazine, I will have the opportunity to attend the MODEX, which I attended in 2014, which is where you have all the manufacturing companies to come in. They're all together, all the companies. And I had the pleasure of actually attending that with Ms. Womack, who was on our board. And I was telling Ms. Baptiste earlier today that I actually have one ticket extra. So if any of the board members are open to attend, it will take place in April. You can get with me and I'll give you the dates. But it's an awesome trade show, a way to just connect and build relationships and just see what's going on out there and just try to connect with businesses that we can bring back here to our city. Also, on Friday, another contract was signed with a European CEO. We want to keep ourselves out there, especially in the international market. So we will be partaking in European CEO again this year. FDI Alliance, we recently got a magazine where we're also featured in there. So as you can see, we're doing a lot of marketing, keeping ourselves out there, keeping it fresh. Briefly, this afternoon, myself and Mr. Baptiste had a meeting with the guy from Z-Bar, and he actually met with the chamber first. We had a 3:30 meeting. It was a brief meeting, and I'm not going to go into detail because what I want to do is I want to sit down with Mr. Baptiste and talk and see if this is something that we want to do, but I just want to put it out there to let you guys know that the chamber is on board. They talked to other entities, Beaumont, Orange, and just they're going to talk with the city, the county, some other people to try to get on board with a way to digital marketing, but from your cell phone, if that makes any sense, having it right there within arm's reach. And so that's where we are. Last but not least, for those of you guys that missed the economic forecast breakfast, it was awesome. A lot of great information. Had judges represented, everybody. To say the weather was really, really bad, we had a great turnout, but it was a lot of information. I don't want to take up a lot of your time, but it's a lot of information. And I think Jeff Finkel and Dr. Johnson and Ms. Louise kind of summed it up, and you guys kind of brought it together on how to move forward with our city, especially with the fact that we had a devastation like Hurricane Harvey, because as you guys know, we were greatly impacted. So that concludes my report. Do you guys have any questions?
I'll just make a comment. If I look at education, it has 26.5% no high school diploma. As that ranked the state of Texas, the U.S., that's pretty high. And there was another statistic. If you Google it and look at the cost we spend on education, it's like $16,000 per student. And we have a big number there. I was just wondering if that's something we need to, as we joint speak with our other entities, how we address that, because that's a bad number right there.
It's a gap.
It's a big gap. Just stands out.
I wanted to know if you were able to get like a report from the economic forecast, since I wasn't able to attend.
I have it all.
Okay.
I have all the notes.
I mean, I tried to make it, but everything was frozen and.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you just get with me, I can print it out for you.
I'll get it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Renata.
You're welcome.
Operational report.
Crystal out ill today. I will tell you, I don't know what she's doing, but every day. But I know we've been spending a lot of time dealing with ABC industry. We met with the plant managers. We had a conference call with ABC Training. I think Thursday or Friday of this week, we're going to meet again. I know she's working on, industry have provided some funds to pay for Port Arthur resident to go through ABC and get connected to subcontractors. 'Cause ABC work as I guess, what you call it, a hire and haul for a lot of these contractors. So there's a lot of things going on, and I think I'll know a lot more after Thursday's meeting. But I know she had been spending a lot of time on the phone with Valero plant manager who oversee the Port Arthur Industrial Group, and also with Kimberly Bernard and John Bernard over at ABC, trying to put all this stuff together right now.
Thank you, Mr. Baptiste. Financial report.
Good evening. I will have to pass the report out. I apologize, I wasn't able to give it to you ahead of time. Okay, again, good evening. Nice to see you all here today. The report, the numbers changed a little bit as far as the revenue. And I'm going to point that out to you. You'll probably realize that when you look at your previous report to your report today. And it increased by $10,000. And that's due to the loan repayment for Seahawk Landing. It was off by $10,000. So the revenue amount changed. It increased by $10,000, which also is going to adjust some of your other numbers. Your total revenue, projected revenue for this fiscal year is $3,758,166. Our expenditures for this month from October to February is $877,305. Our excess of revenue over the expenditures before our transfer is $2,880,861. Our annual debt service for this year, this fiscal year, is $1,084,866. As of today, $452,027 has been expensed to pay towards our debt service. It leaves us a balance of $632,839. That makes a net change in our fund balance of $2,248,022. The fund balance at the beginning of the year is $7,647,067. That, along with the change in the net fund balance, will give us a projected end of the year of $9,895,089. Our current year remaining budget is $5,204,508. Sorry. Projected end of the year budget, $4,690,581. Our projected additional sales tax revenue we're expecting by the end of the year, $2,318,134, which leave us with a projected fund balance year beginning 2018 at $7,008,715. Anyone have any questions?
Let me explain this to some of the newcomers. Okay. This is all projection. Rachel, you've done a great job on this thing. but it's all projection. You know, we kind of narrowed, we kind of know how much loan payment we get receive, so we project the loan payment. We know how much rental income we're gonna get, so we projecting that. But sometime this year, we're gonna have a couple of more renters gonna be receiving money. That number gonna go up again. I could tell you on the sale of land, we just, we project 5 acres of land. So tonight, you guys sold about 20 acres of land, so that's gonna be some increase in money also. I would project by the time of next year, you'll have close to $8 million in your bank. We project, we're very conservative. Rachel, about $1 million conservative right now.
But Mr. Baptiste, can I mention this for Ms. Dorsey? A lot of these are projections, but the one thing that is not projected, it is an actual number, is our expenditures. That is actually the exact number. So every month you look at that, if you look at the expenditures, that's exactly how much that we have expensed from October to now. Okay? Any other questions? Thank you. Y'all have a nice evening.
Thank you, Rachel. CEO report.
Be good.
The other, I think Mr. Whitehall going to the trend of how sales tax is going. Sales tax is up about 14% this year. So, and a lot of that is because of Hurricane Harvey. But we're about a little over 200,000, almost close, about $230,000 more than we had last year in sales tax that we're receiving. So we projected about
that will continue to
14%.
go up because a lot of folks just getting, you know,
Right.
the
Right.
insurance money. So you see, we're gonna have
Right.
a whole lot of construction, especially in the third quarter.
Yeah, if you look at February, February last year was about $1.5 million. February this year was 1.7 million, $200,000 more. You know, so
And you always say that the big stuff gonna be bought now.
that's
The
right.
icebox, the
icebox,
refrigerator, and all that.
The
Yeah.
big stuff is being
The
bought.
recliners and all that.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
CEO report, Mr. Baptiste.
Yeah, first thing I want to give you guys, Jade Avenue, we did go out for bid. We only had one bidder, and the cost came in. I asked the city if they could go out for bid again, so we're going out for bid again. Hopefully by the end of this month, we should have some new bidders start the construction on the Jade Avenue landscaping in the front. By the end, hopefully in March, we should. I think the bids are due in on the 24th of February, somewhere around there. I only had one bid, and I thought both Cliff, the city, and I thought it was a little high, so we went out again.
If I might ask, when you did the bid package, how many bidders did you go out to? How many bid packages went out?
I'm not sure the city did it, but they usually go through a database and
Right.
send it out to most of these people in the landscaping business.
And seeing it just raises my curiosity as to why they wouldn't bid. You know, especially with all the rain that we've had in the last year, you would think that some of these landscapers weren't able to work during some of all this flooding and stuff. So, just curious.
I could follow up on that,
A
Mark.
lot of them are behind on other
Yeah,
jobs.
you got them behind.
Because I know as far as slabs and dirt and landscaping, man, I'm behind. I'm on jobs. So you don't want to take no more because you still got to finish those.
I'm glad to hear that, too.
That's what it is.
Yeah, but the cost came in real high, and we're gonna go out and hopefully get a better cost. The other thing I had on here is, I wanted to provide you guys a copy of this economic overview, and when I went through this thing, there's certain things I highlighted. If you look on page 3, it talks about at the bottom, I looked at the poverty level, the household receiving food stamps. On page 4, I look at the high school dropout. I look at people with bachelor's degree. I also looked at discontinued youth, meaning kids that just drop out of the world, you know, and children in a single-parent family. You know, I was going to issue this out at the workshop that we had at Lamar, but I said, no, I better just hold on to it. But this is very significant that we have to start looking at. There's some cause and some effects to these numbers. And I think you're right, Mr. Wyckoff. We have to start looking at these numbers and why those numbers are the way they are, you know. But I wanted to share those numbers with you guys because it tells a story, these numbers. And I think, and that leads me into my next deal, is the community workshop. First thing, I want to thank all the board members that attended and participated. In my opinion, I got a lot of comments. It was well received. But like I said to staff, you know, there's a lot of things, and Ms. Johnson said it right, there's a lot of plans on the shelf, but nobody implement. And there was a lot of discussion that went on. Now it's time for us to try to implement it. I think that's what you left with, Mr. Mark? Yeah. And, but for those who did not attend, I gave you guys a copy of the agenda, and the very first thing that the board went through, if you go through your package, was we asked everybody to identify one word that what it meant to them for community development, and those are the words that they said. And those words played, you heard those same words throughout the program, I mean the event. Then we took the table, John and everybody was there from different organizations, and we asked each table, what did community development mean to them? And you guys could see it goes back to those same words. Everything goes back to the same word. And the next process we did, we said every entity come together. The city, you sit with your city folks. EDC, you sit with your EDC folks. Port, you sit with your port folks. And y'all, then we asked them to tell us, what is it that community development mean to them? And what role do they play in community development? And they list their things, you know. And I think the last part, the pictures you see, is give us your vision of where you see Port Arthur 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And throughout the process, there was a vision statement that came out of that deal. I will tell this board that Dr. Porter have called me 3-4 times. Larry Kelly have called me a couple of times. Dr. Porter will host the next meeting, which is next month, and we are going to try to make something happen. But again, I want to thank those who did attend, and I hope you guys received something from it. If y'all have any comment, I would love to hear from you guys.
Did have one question. I know that there are meetings that are going to be scheduled to follow up and continue the collaboration. How will we be kept abreast of those meetings is my question.
We will meet on a monthly basis. When I say we, myself, Dr. Portery, Mark, Larry, Phil Kelly with the drainage, and what we would like to do on a quarterly basis is have the directors of each one of those organizations attend a meeting to share, let them know where we at. The other thing came out was that on a quarterly basis, in the city of Port Arthur, there is 4 single-member districts, 1, 2, 3, 4. We will go to each district and talk to the people and hear from the people and let the people tell us their concern, and we will tell the people our concern based upon our organization. So then the people can hold us accountable, and we can hold them accountable when we go back to them 1 year from now. They would have time to measure what they ask us to do, and we will have time to measure what we ask them to do. You know? So, and then biannually, twice a year, the whole group come back together. That is the plan that we have in place right now.
Mr. Baptiste, those meetings will be held where? At here or at the drainage district or where?
We're going to rotate. The April meeting, Dr. Porter is going to hold that April meeting at his place. The next meeting probably will be at the port. It's going to rotate.
Now, would it be open for the public or open for the board members?
Not those meetings, no. We're going to invite the,
So,
hopefully we'll be able to get this back. You know, the way we see this thing, man, is when you came here tonight, we gave you guys an agenda. We feed y'all on what decisions we want y'all to make. And our intent is to feed this vision to you guys through these agendas. Then it will be a common agenda among all organizations. Follow me?
That's fine. As long as there's some type of feedback from the meeting to the board, so we can understand what's working, what's not, what's coming together. Because I think if you don't do that, it's isolated. Then you won't know anything. I think we have to really bring it out and communicate it. Some way it's going to be successful.
Yeah. And again, I think, we haven't had our first meeting, but we did have a lunch together and we talked about it in depth. We will have these quarterly meetings in the community. We will have our quarterly meeting with the chair of the organizations. And at those meetings, I would think that it could be open to those who want to attend from the boards.
Question, when the, I guess the heads of all the entities are meeting on a monthly basis and formulating plans on how we move forward and move the city forward towards towards improving the quality of life, towards rebuilding the city, are there going to be, or have there been any discussions about milestones, where you're going to be, 6 months from now, a year from now, what are we going to be looking at? Because I know we talked about earlier the plan that the revitalization, the downtown plan that's been on the desk for a couple of years, and how we're moving towards that way, but it's moving slowly in some of our opinions.
And what we're getting there, Mr. Baptiste, and I feel strongly about it, I want to have some accountability, that we get things moving. And I like the idea you talk about milestones, to understand where we're going to be in 6 months, 12 months, 2 years from now, so we can measure and see where we're at. Unless you do that, we're not going to change the outcomes that we have. I like that idea.
I agree, and I think every one of these organizations and their board of directors gave some specific instructions in here. If you go through this thing, there's some directions in here, and this is our guides right here.
There was a lot of discussion, 2 days worth of discussion, but over and over, it kept glaring out at me two big things that we have here. We have a very unclean city, and perception of our city as a clean city we need to change, and education. Two of the main factors to keep our city moving forward. First, it has to look good, and then we have to have an educated populace. We always want to keep jobs here, where they got to have some educated people that can take these jobs, because there's plenty of jobs. So that kept glaring at me during the whole 2-day conference, and people kept bringing it up.
And I will tell you, Commissioner, that stood up among a lot of the people. And things already be happening, you know. The manager have put out a memo to city staff. Anyone who have a city vehicle will stop and pick up tires all over the city. When you see something, stop. I have been meeting with the city for the last month on community service folks that's going to be clearing the right-of-ways. We're also talking to Officer who deal with federal prisoners, you know. So that was heard, and think we're doing something about it. Just got to make it, you know, got to put the right process in place to make it happen right. And that is happening right now.
I saw something on Facebook. The city of Fort Worth, they actually have a program where they pay homeless to clean up the streets. I thought that was a really cool idea. I know someone shared it for Beaumont to look at, and so that's something that the city of Fort Worth has implemented, and they're getting a lot of positive feedback.
Well, what we're doing here is the municipal court sentence people to community service. Well, the city is now a community service site. So the municipal court will sentence them to the city to do community service. And the city has inspectors by zone. I think there's 5 zones in this city, and they're gonna go one zone at a time. And those community service folks are gonna go clean up that zone. The next week, they may be in another zone. So it's just putting all the processes in, but it's being answered, man.
If they do that, that'll be great. Just when they're going to implement it, that's be the next thing. But John said there's plenty of jobs. There is plenty of jobs. It's just the idea we have to get to make sure we have the right education for those jobs, and they're applying for them. There's plenty of jobs.
Plenty of jobs.
We just got to make sure we're doing the right to get them educated for those jobs, get them trained. There's plenty of jobs.
And as I said to you guys earlier on Crystal Report, there's a lot of discussion going on with industry, and currently, Mark, you probably know about ABC and how industry pays ABC. Industry have put up some money, put up their own money, saying we're going to train these people. And so, because there is a lot of jobs, and industry have, I'm going to use my own language, industry have finally realized the problem is theirs. They got to find people to work. So they have to train them. Is that right? Got to train them, man.
I had a short conversation with the manager from Valero after the second day, and just threw it out at him that maybe industry working with the school district, because I know at the Cates Center, having been on the school board, we spend a lot of money building that Cates Center over there, and there's a lot of equipment, there's a lot of programs over there, and you've got some students over there. If we can get, there's some of those students that are coming out going to industry, not very many right now. Most of them end up over at ABC, where there's additional monies that have to be spent to train them. But if we can catch them while they're in high school, where they're getting trained, and get industry to kind of help with the training to prepare them to come out into the plants, then you can actually enhance the number of students that are ready to go right into the plant as an apprentice or go to work right after high school. In fact, the young man who we did the KLV Ventures with, he's a product of the welding program over at the Cates Center. I think he graduated around 2005, 2006. But when he left high school, he went right into the plant welding at $30 an hour. It's just that he wanted to become an accountant, and he left and did that. But there are those opportunities, and there's a number. I can't speak to all of the students, but there's a large number of students that are being prepared. But I think there can be a larger number that we can keep at home here in the city, going to work in these plants as welders, as machinists, with those high-paying jobs, if we got industry to work a little bit closer with the school district. But that's something for this organization that we've put together, and I want to commend you for putting the workshop together, because it really opened up a lot of folks' eyes. It was good to see leaders from all these different entities, all the different areas in the city come together and work on a common goal to enhance or to better the quality of life here in this city.
Keep in mind, you're the captain, you know that, huh? Okay.
Just wanted to make one statement. I know we have a lot of jobs, and we may not have enough qualified people, but we still have one other issue. We have qualified people that are not getting hired for the jobs that we do have, and that's something we definitely, I don't know if that's something y'all can look at in the meetings that you're going to have, but I know of a number of young people that have had to leave this area to go to work, and they're qualified for the jobs that are right here. So we need to definitely address that issue, because some people really do want to stay in Port Arthur.
And I agree with you, Commissioner, and I like to say, in the 2 days that we spent over at Lamar, I was very pleased to see that the plant manager from Valero spent 18 hours with us, and he was very participatory. I was glad to see that BASF was there, representative was there, Valero was there, and Total was there. And those folks, they heard the dialogue. They sat down there with John and had to listen to John. They sat with Mark and listened to Mark. And from my perspective, they sat with the city, and the city heard a different song. It's not all about the money. Sometimes it's about relationship. And I think that was the thing that I saw coming together, relationship. And I think a lot of the things that we're talking about today, building that relationship, will open up a lot of new doors. You guys just signed an agreement with Standard Alloy. You're right, Mr. Mark. Lamar, Port Arthur has an excellent machine shop, with excellent students coming out of that place. And you don't have to go find them. They're here. So I think that relationship building that took place in that room with all these different entities, I think that was the key to the success to that 2 days. And I think I just see it a little different. I see it a little brighter. It's going to take hard work, though. Take hard work. And I said to staff, there's some people, watch things happen, and there's other people make things happen. So, and I think that group that was there for those 2 days is ready to make things happen.
I believe it was a great meeting, and I believe a lot of great things are going to come out of it. Any other questions or thoughts for our CEO? All right, the time is now 7:14, and it's time for us to move into executive session. A closed meeting or executive session will be held pursuant to the following sections of Chapter 551, Texas Government Code. Section 551071 Government Code to discuss with Attorney Guy Goodson pending or potential litigation and or legal advice. Section 551072 Government Code to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Section 551074 Government Code to discuss matters of personnel. And Section 5510 087 Government Code to discuss initiatives, incentives, or commercial and industrial business prospects. Let's move to executive section. where to put them at to get them warm. It's 7:53. We want to call the meeting back to order. Have a roll call, please.
Carol Anderson.
Here.
John Sharafas.
Here.
Michelle Dorsey. Kenneth Marks.
Here.
Richard Wyckoff. Warren Pena.
Here.
Dallas Smith.
Here.
Ingrid Holmes, and David Stickley. You have a quorum.
Thank you. With there being nothing that we need to move on or take action on coming out of executive session, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.